Hi guys, and welcome back to OG Cars, and in today's video you join us in a nice cold garage, and we've got the Italia in a slightly different place. Now this car was obviously featured very recently on the channel, and we've only just got it back to the house. Now the big plan, obviously, from the back of the last video is that we want to bring this to the March Resto show, we want to bring it to Pandino in Italy, and we want to bring it to the Classic Motor Show at the NEC in November. Now we want this to be mechanically sorted for the March show, and then it needs to be resprayed and perfect for June Pandino and November NEC. So we really need to get some moving on here for the mechanicals, because there's a lot of stuff this car needs. So in today's video we're going to look at everything wrong with my Fiat Panda Italia 90. First things first, let's get the car jacked up, let's get the wheels off, let's just do a full inspection, right? We need to see underneath, we need to see in the suspension, we need to see under the bonnet, we need to see inside. Obviously, there's the whole exterior to do, but that can wait. We just need the mechanicals, we need this car welded up, we need it sorted, right? So apologies for the camera angles, we've got loads of cars here, there, and everywhere. You may notice the car in front, which you can only see the rear corner of at the moment. Well, that's a car that hasn't featured properly on the channel for a while and has finally had a bit of work done to it. So we'll feature that in another video, so watch out for that one. But yeah, let's get this in here, have a look at this. Right, that's the wheels off. So let's have a good inspection and make a list and then show it to you guys. I've got a feeling it's going to be quite a long one. All right, it's been a little bit of time just going through everything, and we've just done a bit of categorizing basically. So a few things that hopefully we just start knocking through. I didn't have a big enough piece of paper, so I thought, why not use a Trabant 601 Combi rear wing as my list. I think that's pretty cool. We've got suspension, interior, brakes, drivetrain, body, miscellaneous, and welding, all as categories. Let's go through each of these and go through all of these individual things, and hopefully this is all of it, but as you can see, it's quite a lot already. So then my list is there. Let's start with suspension. Now we have the whole of the rear axle first, because basically the spring cups have completely rusted through. I mean, just take a look at this. You can see through to where the plastic around the spring should be, and that is not right. It should be an entire spring cup. There should be no holes, and it's a common Panda thing. Unfortunately, it's falling out. So this whole axle, luckily, have an entire replacement downstairs, so that needs changing out onto this car. Now, while that's off and apart, we have the rear springs and the rear shocks, which are just looking a little tired. Now, the shocks definitely need replacing. The springs themselves may or may not clean up with a paint. If they're cheap enough, I may well get some new ones, but we'll have a little look online and see what we can find for that. Front suspension now, and this gets a little more complicated as we have a few more items. So we have the front shocks, which I think I'm going to replace because they're a little bit on the old side. The springs, I think these will paint up fine. They're not cracked. Can't see any breaks in the springs, so that's fine. We also have the front lower arms, which I believe should be replaced because the bushes are getting a little worn, and the lower of the hub carriers ball joints are also quite worn, and the dust covers are ruined. So if I can, and I believe you used to be able to get them really easily and cheaply, might just get the entire hub carrier for this, so I can replace basically hub carrier, shock, repaint that spring, get the lower arm done, put the radius arm back on, and the front suspension will be completely restored as well. I did this in a roundabout way, so we're next onto the category of the interior. Now, the interior, basically the seat coverings need to be done. I'm going to contact somebody to see if we can get that done. Basically, I want to get the covering sorted and then maybe fit the interior again fully at a restoration show. We'll see what happens. We'll see what I can actually get done. But obviously it's not as paramount as all the mechanicals. But I thought I'd mention it. And obviously the door cards, a couple of them are not the best, especially the driver's side front. So they need redoing as well. We also need a headlining because we don't even have one. Now I do have a spare beige one, but I'm still tempted actually to try and get a blue one made similar to the carpet and obviously the rest of the interior in here. On top of those bits, I want to do the dash plastics. Now, I'm not actually sure if they're completely broken, but there's a load of tape on the top here. Not entirely sure why, but it's kind of ruined the plastic with all of the tape residue. at the very least. So I want to just sort that out. If I have to replace the dash pieces, then whatever. I'm pretty sure I've got a couple of bits. And the steering wheel, we'll see what we want to do. Ultimately, I think the steering wheel is quite solid anyway, but there's a couple of cracks showing, so I just want to check them, maybe repair them, or if there's a new steering wheel around which is of the same style, maybe I'll just go and get that. We'll, again, see what's available and see. Last but maybe not least, we also need to make sure the horn is working, but that's an MOT-able thing, so we'll get to that bit. Who'd have thunk it? We're back at the rear of the car, and the next section is brakes. I can see on my lovely list over there. So I've listed the drums. To be honest, they're spinning fine. They might be fine. So I'll probably just take them off and actually inspect them. Same with the shoes. If I have to replace any of those bits, then fair enough. Drums, they're probably cheap enough. I may well just do them anyway. The shoes and the springs tend to be fairly durable unless they're worn. So again, we'll check those. But the wheel cylinders, I would love to replace. And the pipes are really quite rusty on these, well, on top of the axle. But the axle's got to come out anyway, so I suppose it's the perfect time to change those brake pipes anyway. And there's a hose that joins these two pipes on the axle at the rear, so I'll probably end up doing that hose as well. And now we're back at the front. Now I've just pulled a load of dust and other stuff out of this front caliper here. I mean, it's all kinds of gummed up and a bit nasty. Very, very dusty, very, very dirty. It's been sat a long time, ultimately, even in my ownership, let alone how worn they may have been before that. So it needs discs and pads at a very minimum. I'll probably end up doing the calipers, just as they tend to be really cheap and really easy to get. So that's famous last words now, isn't it? They won't be in stock anymore. But hopefully the plan is to change those. While I'm doing that, I may as well do the hoses. I don't know how old the rubber is. And to be honest, actually looking at that, really quite cracked. Not too happy with that. So we'll change the hoses while we're there. And definitely this offside front pipe is really quite rusty where the join is. So we're going to replace that as well, because we just don't want any of that going wrong. And while we're there doing this stuff, we may as well just get it all done, get it done right. First engine bay shot as well. We basically have the master cylinder here. Now it's a non-servo assisted vehicle, being a 750, so considering the pipe I have to replace this side anyway, I'm very tempted just to change the entire master cylinder out if I can find one easily enough. We'll see. It's not the end of the world if we don't, because the brakes were working fine before. I'll see if I can find one. If not, we'll just change the pipe up to the master cylinder and be done with it. But we'll certainly do a full brake fluid change and get it all flushed out on all of those new calipers and pistons after they're done anyway. Well, it looks like we're here in the engine bay anyway. Let's go on to the drivetrain section, which kind of includes a couple other bits anyway, but there's a fair bit to do here. Not necessarily out of need, but definitely out of want. In terms of need, we need to sort this carburetor. It was running really badly the last couple of times I drove it, and actually to get it into this position here in the back of the garage, it wouldn't even run under its own power anymore. It was getting fuel to the carb, and obviously everything else was fine. So it needs a full service anyway. We're going to do spark plugs, rotor arm, distributor cap. We're going to do oil changes for the engine and the gearbox, but I think it definitely needs a carburetor rebuild or replacement, and we just want to get everything running. Tickety-boo, really nice. The other thing we want to do, and well, it's not necessarily something I have to do, but something I want to do in this case is do the head gasket, because these engines are known for occasionally popping them, and after being off the road for a little while, especially with just the coolant chilling in there, doing absolutely nothing and gumming everything up, I think it's best practice to do the water pump anyway. The belt's going to be old, so we want to do the timing belt and the tensioner there. So regardless, we've got all of those bits off. We got the carb off anyway. We're doing full service. We may as well just take the rocker off and just take the head belts out, take it off, do the head gasket, do the manifold gaskets, and it's all fresh and new. But this Fiat Fire series is so easy to work on, I might as well just get it done. Now let's continue under here. We've got the coil behind here, and we've got the distributor here. Now this is the old points and condenser style distributor. Now the normal 750s ran this. I'm pretty sure the 1000s ran it, unless you have the 4x4. Now, however, I have had a few 4x4s, and I do actually have spare distributors and spare coils of the basically the pointless style with the electronic ignition. So I'm very likely to just change that out anyway, because I've got a good spare distributor. I want to change the rotor arm and distributor cap. May as well do the leads with the spark plugs while I'm there. The coil, I do have a good used one, but I might just fit a new one because they're not £1 million anyway. And then I've got a nice new coil as well. So we're just going all out on this thing, just get the ignition system really nice. And if we can make it, you know, electronic ignition as well, it should be fairly reliable, hopefully. Next up we have the alternator and the alternator belt. Now admittedly the belt looks kind of okay, but if I'm taking it off I may as well just buy another 675 ribbed belt there. And well, the alternator actually looks fairly recent. It's a Lucas replacement looking at this, so it might actually be fine. I put it on there as a note basically to check it, but that might be one thing that we don't actually replace or do anything with, just something we check that's charging once we've got the new belt on and get everything running again. Very important one, this one. And the last thing really for the engine that I can think of off the top of my head is the fuel piping. Basically it's gone really cracked where the piping's really quite old now. It's obviously rubber piping. It's due replacement every few years anyway, something to really keep on top of, otherwise it can go really badly wrong obviously. The fuel pump is a plastic style one and one of the newer style ones. I'm not a massive fan of these plastic style ones just because they're supposedly slightly easier to break, but maybe I'll find a metal one and stick it on. But ultimately the pump was working before and I am getting fuel out of the end of the pipe there, so we'll see what happens. Last but not least for the drivetrain section, I want to consider the gearbox. Now third gear synchro is getting a little bit crunchy, so I'm not sure whether I should remove the gearbox, either get it repaired or maybe find a replacement if I'm lucky enough to find a 4-speed gearbox, which is hard enough in itself these days it seems. If I'm going to do that, then obviously I'd want to replace the clutch, and to be honest I think I'll check the gear linkage bushes anyway, as one of those failing is the reason why I got the car so cheap in the first place. And yeah, that's it really. Maybe replace the gear gaiters. I think this side was actually leaking on the inner gaiter on the drive shaft, so it's worth replacing those regardless of what I do with the gearbox. But if I'm going to the effort of all this other work, is it worth me taking the gearbox out and having a little look? What do you think, guys? I'd appreciate your opinion on that as well. What we really want to do is skip to the good bit, don't we? So we'll just run through body and miscellaneous rather quickly. So we've got washers and wipers. We just need to make sure they work. We've got the lights, so we need to make sure the front and rear lights are working, you know, side lights, all of that jazz. Side indicators. We've got wheels and tyres. The wheels need a good refurb. The tyres need replacing. They are super old. The rear exhaust is getting a little bit rusty, and John Corbett, while he was in his Italia 90 750 in Italy for Pandino, not last year, 2025, but 2024 when we went, I believe his rear exhaust fell off and he had to get it either welded back together or whatever. So I think maybe it's worth me replacing that before we go as well. Also needs a battery because this one keeps dying, so we'll get a new one of those. And I also want to check the radiator, as everything's been sitting for a while. Maybe I'll just replace it depending on how cheap it is. If not, I should be able to remove it and clear it all out and get it fitted, and that should be fine. Of course, I'm going to get some close-ups for you now, but I've marked out a little area here. X marks the spot where this outer sill section needs to be cut out, because the inner sill doesn't really exist on the near side rear here. So the plan is cut that out, weld the inner sill, weld the outer sill back to it, or get another piece of outer sill or make something up and weld that in. The rest of it has already had repairs, luckily. They're not like the most amazing looking jobs in the world, but what I'll do is I'll just tidy them up and give it a really nice unseal under the whole car afterwards. But that definitely needs some attention because that looks pretty dire. But that's the easy side, right? This one is the one that made me question why on earth I bought this thing. Now I've got a line down here and down here with lots of X's marking the spot on the outer sill. Now the outer sill isn't terrible. There is a rather large hole just here, which I shouldn't be able to put my hand in. But if I grab the drain hole here, you may see that the whole of the outer sill is coming away from the car. And that's because the inner sill doesn't actually exist anywhere here. So the outer sill does need to be cut out here, and it needs the inner sill fabricating and welding in, and then a new piece of outer sill welding onto the outside. So this is the big one. Luckily the rear is actually really quite nice. This side looks like somebody's worked on that before, and the front doesn't need any work just in front of here. But obviously that still leaves a rather large section of, yes, this much. So yeah, there's quite a lot to do. The list is quite long. The welding is possibly the most daunting part of that. The rest of it is stuff I've pretty much done before, so fair enough. There's just quite a lot of it. Well everyone, I'd like to thank you for watching, and apologies, it's been a bit of a long-winded list. Now, I knew this was going to be a whole video on its own, and this has taken me a few hours in the garage to properly look over it and figure this all out, get it all written down, and let you guys know what it needs. So if you've got any thoughts, please put them in the comments below. Let us know what you think of this car, and maybe what you think we should or shouldn't change. Are there things on the list you wouldn't bother with? Are there things that aren't even on the list that you would do? What would you do about the gearbox? Let us know. We would really appreciate your thoughts, and we'd appreciate your thoughts on our potential journeys for this car later in the year. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. I won't take up any more of your time. Like, comment and subscribe. We'll see you all in the next one.